Tech 1 students, there are two things you should know before you start watching this video. Number one, you are awesome. Number two, you have got to get these 3 files done. That's right, do the paperwork. Here we go. I'm just going to show you speeded up examples of how these 3 drawing files can be completed for our Secrets and Safes project. To be specific, the 3 files this video addresses are the 2.4 sketch, the wiring diagram, and the 2.4 flowchart. I'm going to do them in order: the sketch, the wiring, the diagram, and the flowchart. And again, I'm just going to be showing you examples. The file is 2.4 sketch, and this is going to be the sketch of my project, of my security device. And the example I will give is a container that is going to keep my phone safe. Just a box that I'm going to build out of the foam board. And I'm going to use the line tools, the shape tools, and the text tool in order to create my sketch. I'm going to show roughly what it looks like, and I'm going to include labels that describe it. Students, this is the wiring diagram that is in the Google Classroom, and it starts with a picture of the microbit and these instructions in a text box. Use the line and shape tools to draw how your input and output components will be hooked up to the microbit. You guys, I don't need to show you again how to use the line and shape tools. You already saw that in the previous video. This is just an example of what your wiring diagram might look like. Remember, you can only have 1 cable hooked up to the numbered pins. That is, the 0, 1, and 2 pins can only have 1 cable. Your ground can have more than 1 cable coming from the negative end of a component. For instance, if you have both lights and a speaker as output on your device, you can have both the ground or black cable from the light and the ground or black cable from the speaker going to the ground pin. What you may need to do is clip one of the cables onto the clip of the other cable that is clipped to the ground pin. In the case of this diagram, I am getting data from pin 1 to the light sensor and the power from the 3-volt pin. Students, this is an example of the 2.4 flow chart. And I must tell you that I have changed my mind on this several times. I demonstrated it to second period one way, I demonstrated it to fourth period another way, and I have finally settled on this diagram yet a third way, and I want to explain my thinking here. And my thinking is thinking like a computer, that is in logical yes-no steps. So this is a flow chart for the box I sketched in the previous example and how I wired it in the wiring diagram. It is a box that is going to keep my phone secure, and the box is going to do that by reading the light level. If the lid is open, the light level is going to rise. That's going to sound off an alarm, which is the buzzer or speaker, which is going to let me know, hey, someone's in my box. So the first choice that has to be made is this thing on or off? The requirement of the assignment is you have to be able to arm and disarm the device. So that's the first thing the program will ask. Are we on or are we off? If the answer is yes, it is disarmed, well then we're done, it's over. If the answer is no, well then it has to go to the first step. And in my previous diagram, my first step was the alarm is off because that is how I want it to start. But that's not the real first question. The microbit has to decide whether the alarm should be on or should be off. So the first thing it has to do is read the light sensor. And then there's a question to be answered that's a yes or no question. Is the light level low enough to stay off or high enough to turn on? I just put in the number 300, like in my pressure sensor example. It's an arbitrary number. It can be changed. And it will be changed depending upon your light sensor and the level of light in the room you're testing it in. Is the light level less than 300? If the answer is yes, it's still dark. And then the alarm stays off. It goes back to checking. And here's the loop. It will keep checking, 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 checking. If the answer is no, well then someone's got the lid open, the alarm goes on, and then it continues to check, 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 check. Once the lid's closed again, the level will go down, it will go off.